All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to KBN Live. Running 5 minutes late, which is dead money on time for us. So we appreciate everybody hanging in there to catch KBN Live tonight. We've got Ryan Lambert up there, back home in the home studio, looking nice. I'm Jeff Malott, of course. We're your host, and we are honored, excited, humbled, whatever you want to say, to have Bassmaster Classic champ, one of the best anglers on the planet Earth, Randy Howell, took the time to join our little podcast. Thank you, Randy.
Appreciate it.
Man, I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here tonight. We had some technical difficulties with Skype, but we got it working on the phone, so hopefully you guys can hear me here tonight.
Yes,
oh, yeah, for sure.
I just have one question. How did Ryan convince you to come on this show with us tonight?
I had to trade him a few smallmouth to get him to do it.
It looks like.
Well, we're excited to have you on here, sir. We sure appreciate it. So what we want to talk about, I shared the link to this when we made the big announcement, was your boat giveaway. It's coming up. And we want to talk about some other stuff too, but the King's Home boat giveaway that you do each year, benefiting that organization. Talk a little bit about that and what that's going towards.
Yeah, I didn't hear nothing y'all just said. It just came back on. I don't know
well, perfect. Jeff he was asking about the King's Home boat giveaway. What's the story?
Okay,
what's the story with that? How long have you been doing it?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we've been. This is the 10th year, the 10th anniversary for the boat giveaway. Man, it started. It seems like just yesterday we started doing it, and man, it's been 10 whole years, and the last 9 years it's been over $1.5 million raised. For all the kids and ladies' homes at King's Home, just from the generosity of all the fishing community abroad. And we were doing stats today, sending them out, and we've sold tickets in 49 states and seven other countries. So over 10,000 people have donated in that 9-year period. So, man, if we could just get a third of that to do it again this year, we could set a new record. My goal this year is to do 2,500 tickets. Last year, 2,000 tickets was what we hit, but I'd love to hit 2,500 this year because they really need the help. This COVID year has really been a dent in the donations for all need-based charities like King's Home, so they really need a lot of help this year.
And it was a kayak angler that actually won your boat last year, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, Farron Lewis over in Lynchburg, Tennessee. Man, he worked for Jack Daniels.
Yep, that's him.
He was a Hobie. He had a Hobie kayak. I mean, it was a great story. He had a Hobie kayak. He fished the Hobie and a bunch of the kayak tournaments. And he had just built a house with a garage for a bass boat that he was hoping to buy in the next 2 or 3 years after he got his house built. So he actually decided to keep the boat, not sell it, because I've got 2 or 3 people always wanting someone to just call and say, hey, I'll give you $60,000 for it or whatever it is to move it if you don't need it. But he kept it. So, and I get messages on Instagram like every month or two, somebody saying, "Hey, I saw you on Del Hollow last weekend. How did you do?" And I'm like, "That wasn't me, man. That was the guy who won my boat last year. Still got the wrap on it."
Nice. And when you give this boat away, I mean, it's fully rigged out, right? I mean, it's just like your last tournament.
Yeah, it sure is. I'm sitting in it now in my garage, and if my laptop had to work like it was supposed to earlier, I could have been able to show you a little bit more of it. But yeah, it's a 2020 Triton 20X, and it's fully loaded from 50 Pro XS Mercury in the back to it's got a 10-inch Atlas HD TH Marine hydraulic jack plate. Got the power pole charge system in the back, Odyssey batteries. HDS 16 live, a big 16 on Boat Logic mount right there on the dash. Looks like a flat screen TV. I got a HDS 12 in the front, a Lowrance Ghost trolling motor, a Hydro Wave, blue water LEDs front to back. Custom. I mean, it's head to toe, man. You've been with me, Ryan. I'm real particular about getting my boats just right, making them really sharp, and taking good care of them, keeping them clean. And this thing's only got 108 hours on it. This year because we've had a short season. So, I mean, keel shield, keel guard on the kill shield, gator guard on the bow here to keep it safe from no scratches on it. Man, it's in perfect shape.
Don't get muddy shoes on the carpet.
That's
I'll
right.
go
You
ahead and
remember
tell you
that?
that, folks. Don't get your muddy shoes on the carpet.
Did you get
I
scolded?
don't, I don't, I don't get mad about
I
it.
didn't. No, that wasn't me. Don't put that juju on me.
I just hint around about it just to say, hey, just knock them feet off in the water a little bit, because it just makes it easier to keep clean. But yeah, anybody can go right on King's Home. It's KINGSHOME.com, kingshome.com, or you can just type in kingshome.com/Randy.
So we've got it linked in the comments already.
Yeah, link on the comments right there, and then also if you go to the website and you're a guy that likes to do something over the phone and don't want to fool with your phone or the internet, you can call that number right on that same site to call in during the day and give your donation over the phone to Catherine or Trenda, one of the two ladies in the office there, and it'll be great. And so when we audit the deal, we got an auditor comes in from Louisiana, audits the whole sweepstake drawing deal. On Saturday, November 14th, we have a big kids fishing event on the campus there at the Girls Ranch, and fish all day. High school fishing teams, everybody will be there helping the kids fish, and that's a really fun day. And we kind of end it out. It's like a big, kind of like a Thanksgiving pre-Christmas celebration outdoor event. And then at 2:00, one of the kids that they've drawn from a hat from all the kids, one kid gets picked to pull the ticket out of the big roller. So once it's audited and all the tickets are digital, come in through the internet, so there's no paper tickets anywhere being sold like that. So everything is cut right out of the computer on the machines. I mean, it's all professionally done. So everybody in that barrel. So it's no like one ticket bent one way, one bent another. The old days, the guy said, bend your ticket a little bit, maybe they'll pull it out. It ain't like that at all. So it's a real amazing deal, and I'm going to call the winner from the stage. So I always say, please put your phone number on that ticket, on that digital form when you fill it out, so I can call you on the phone. Because usually we got 1,000, 2,000 people out there in the crowd watching the event, and it's so much fun when somebody answers the phone, because every year, man, I get voicemail. And I'm like, hey, this is Randy Howell on the stage at King's Home. Just won my boat. Please give me a call back on this number. And so we stand there, and I'm like talking to the crowd and all that, and all of a sudden my phone rings back, and it's always pretty fast. They call back pretty fast, and so it's always a lot of fun. So man, I'm excited about it. We really need everybody's help this year. We want to break all the records, and this is the perfect year to win this boat.
So guys and gals, if you want a bass boat in your garage, click that link, make a donation, and give yourself a shot at taking it home. Randy was kind enough to support Jackson when Jackson was putting on his charity event. So let's turn it around and show him support on this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's $100 per ticket, no limit. You can see it right on there. So that's a tax deductible donation as well.
Randy, can you tell us a little bit? Katie, as always, hooks us up with all the links and comments. But could you tell us a little bit about King's Home, what it's all about, and what that money's going towards?
Yeah, King's Home is it's actually a Christian based, so it's a faith based ministry for girls and boys. And so it's kids. They have young kids. They have teenagers. They have moms with small kids, and then they have women all in separate places. So they've got like 4 girls ranches and boys ranches. Then they've got about 21 separate women's group homes scattered around 4 counties in the state of Alabama. And a lot of kids and women come from other states sometimes, but it's a lot of them in the state. And most of these kids that come to King's Home they've been abused and abandoned, neglected somewhere from their previous family or original family, and sometimes even they've been in foster care for a long time, and they've been from one foster care to the next, and they finally end up coming into King's Home. And when they get there, it's usually a 90% success rate for rehabilitation. They come from a lot of bad situations, and like just for instance, last year they had 12 seniors that graduated high school last year, girls and boys. 11 of them went to a college somewhere on a scholarship, and the other one went in the military. So out of 12 seniors graduating, that was 12 success stories that would have all been statistics had they not been in King's Home for 2 or 3 years prior. So it's just so much awesome stuff. We've been a part of it for about 12 years, and kind of got connected with them by going over myself and just thinking I was doing a good deed, and doing a little fishing seminar and talking to the boys there one time back in 2007 at the Bassmaster Classic, and it kind of led to just our hearts getting, tugged on. We went around and met a lot of them and went through the homes and saw how the operation was. And we just knew after that we needed to be a part of it. So we talked to them about how we could help them more. And then little by little, it kind of one thing led to another. And we started helping them try to raise money. And then I come up with the idea of just, why don't we see if we could get our sponsors to help us be able to give my boat away and use that as a way to raise money. So start out seeming really easy. And the first year we did almost 1,000 tickets on it, right at $100,000. And it was really hard to do that. And then it's grown little by little, but went into Classic in 14. We started in 11 and went to Classic in 14. Got all the Kings home and the kids and all the people on ESPN on TV in that arena that day, which made it really sink into what kind of the charity really was all about. So that's when it kind of went national after that, and it's just grown. And all the money, every bit of that money goes directly. If we were like last year, we raised $200,000, a little over $200,000. It goes directly into the home budgets, and they've got about a $5.9 million budget to operate that whole place. And they've got 3 thrift stores that they own now that funds a lot of the money. They get a little bit of money from the state funding for some of the kids, and then the rest all comes from private donations because it's a faith-based charity. So that's why it's dear to our heart. We know them and we've seen it, and we know the impact it makes on the world.
Yeah, that's amazing. We're getting
that's
a lot
awesome.
Of comments.
That's a good story.
Yeah, a lot of comments. A few people said they're already entered. Somebody asked if Randy's in witness protection. I think it's because his background blurs on. It keeps blurring in and out, but we can hear him just fine. So that's all we need.
That's Brian. That's Brian the carpenter. He was wanting to know if you were in witness protection. That was actually a stipulation of Randy's. He said he would only come on Kayak Bass Nation if we blurred his face out the entire time.
and didn't call him Randy Howell. We had to make up a name.
I'm lucky I'm even on here with all the technical difficulties. So we got my wife's phone sitting sideways on a dial with tackle bag, facing me, plugged into a drop cord. I mean, it's like Redneck City up in this garage right now.
Shout out to Robin for saving the day once again.
Yeah, she did. Right. She saved the day once again. So if it is blurred, it's probably because them lights in my ceiling in my garage here is probably turned up toward them lights. I'm scared to mess with it.
No, I wouldn't mess with it. Skype has a blur background feature, and it's sometimes it'll pick your hands up, sometimes it'll pick your face up. That's what it's doing. Guaranteed.
I don't know what to do then. I'm sorry.
While you're leaning in, that makes it just right. So stay right there. You're good to go.
Stay right here. Okay.
Good to go.
I'll stay right here.
Yeah, no. This is great. We're so glad you came on here. And if you folks are watching this, please, everybody out there watching, please share this so more people can find out about this information and share the link over and like that Randy Howell Fishing Facebook page. There's a lot of information over there too. So make sure you go.
We did a little kayak filming last week down here on Guntersville.
Ooh. That was the rumor. You and Morgan got out, is that right?
Yeah, we did one of those Hobie outdoor adventure shows. I think Iaconelli did one. Maybe when was that? I think he did one earlier in the year or last year on the river.
Down at and they did a little bit of filming down on when we were down at Seminole too. I think I remember AJ saying he went out with them as well.
Yeah, I remember they did something, I know. So we've been trying to make it happen here, and COVID's had California people shut down worse than anywhere, and poor Morgan couldn't get out of Dodge. He finally escaped and got here to Alabama. He didn't want to leave when he got here.
I was going to say that's pretty much torture if they're going to stick you in California and not let you out.
I know. So he showed up, and we got I got a new 360 finally. It took like a year to get my 360, and I got it finally like in April or May. I think I got it in May. So that was the first time I really got it rigged up and really in good shape to fish out of. And we thought we were going to go out here on Guntersville and have a shallow water frog beat down, and we didn't get a bite on nothing. So when you see this show, it ain't going to be nothing like you would expect the Guntersville show to be, but it's going to be pretty cool because it turned out better than it started. Thinking we were going to have a struggle. We had to get the old Daiwa power spinning rod out and skip a Cinco around on braid, and man, we caught him good after we did that. And I taught Morgan how to skip docks. He had never done that before.
No.
So kind of turned into a dock skipping show. and a pretty darn good one. So I'm excited about seeing it when it gets done.
Y'all didn't get on them pet fish out there by the dock?
No, we were all back here. No, the water. You know what happened? They sucked the bottom out 2 days before we started on Monday, like that weekend. I don't know what they were doing. It almost got the winter pool. And
Yeah,
back
so I
here,
think they're dropping it earlier. I know up there we're fishing the Tournament of Champions, but we had our state championship on the same waters. I told you up on the classic waters up around Knoxville, and they are running the bottom out of Cherokee and Douglas lakes too. So they've got the generators running wide open up there. A lot of current trying to get it down to winter pool early, I think.
So they sucked it out of the back here so bad that all the fish that were up in the flats and the grass and the pads back here in Spring Creek that we were hoping to fish for, they got pulled out because there was no water for them to stay up there. It was 4 or 5 inches of water in that grass, so they all sucked out. And after we finally realized where they went under a lot of these docks, and it's the first time it was fun because skipping docks. Sitting down in a kayak is really a lot of fun. It's easier to skip them under sitting in a kayak than it is standing up in a bass boat because you're down so low there. And man, it was like calling your shot. And once it was a wacky Cinco, the water was so shallow in our docks, something quiet. And I mean, I caught 4 or 5 in a row, and finally got Morgan over there and showed him how to do it. Gave him one of my spinning rods, and then I turned him loose on the next 4 or 5 docks, and he caught one on there every dock just about. So it was a lot of fun. We didn't catch anything over 3 3/4, I think, was the biggest one. I had a bunch of long, skinny ones would have been good on a kayak board for a kayak tournament. We probably had 5. I bet we had 80, probably 80 some inches, probably mid, low 80s, something like that. If we'd measured them, it's pretty good.
Yep, that's good.
So
what'd you think about that 360?
Man, I tell you what, it spoiled me so bad because I got a PA 14 and I got a 360 in the dock, and Robin, she's been using the 14, and she just had it fixed up like she liked it and all that, and had to do nothing to it. So she kept taking that, and I kept telling her to take the 360 out there. It was a lot easier to maneuver it, and then I jumped into 360, and once she got in it the next time and she saw how much easier it is, she's like, man, I ain't getting back in that other one anymore. This one's so easy now. And then I put the power pole micro on there with the spike, and I mean, you can just sit in one spot with that 360 and put your pole down, and even cook a fish, and even the wind blows you around, you stay in one spot. Then you just turn that 360 handle and turn yourself and spin yourself right back around in casting position, and never fall out or roll into the bat, get into the area and mess your area.
It's not bad. We're trying to get Jeff into one.
I got one. It's just motorized.
I can't get Jeff on the Hobie train. He won't cross over.
You see me right here. I'm good.
What's that say on that?
Old town.
Old man's what it says.
Hey, you know what? Let's go back a little bit. This is something Randy doesn't probably even realize. But there's a connection from years back where Randy was rolling with an attack, a Wilderness Systems attack, and I was on the Wilderness System.
Get out of here!
I was on the Wilderness System team at the time, so I think maybe we're somehow kayak related. How about that?
It's all cut now.
Cut out just a little time.
You're say that again. Say it again.
No, I said back in the day I was on the Wilderness team, and you were rolling with a Wilderness attack for a little bit there around the time you won the Classic, I think. So we're somehow like kayak brand related, I think. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I ran that the first year I did. The first kayak I ever had was the Wilderness. And then I kept seeing everybody peddling them Hobies around me, and it made it look so easy. That's why I ended up getting that the next year.
I got you.
It really was so much easier. But hey, it wasn't nothing wrong with my Wilderness. I just like the moving around on them pedals are a lot better.
Oh yeah. You need to come check out Old Town out with the Ultrex on it with Spotlock. That's where it's at.
I bet that's real good. You went full screen on me now. I lost Ryan over here on my screen.
You're fine. Right. You ain't missing nothing. Don't worry.
I like that gator head.
Yeah, man. I try to drag a few souvenir animals back. Those ducks in the background, they're from Gunnersville down there. Those came out of the back of town. About to be that time too. Man, I hope we get some birds down this year. It's been a desolate couple of years. We're doing that shotgun shell company, and we've got Riley Green. I don't know if you know who he is, but he's a country singer. But we're working with he's got a waterfowl company, Halo Waterfowl. We're going to do a lot of filming with them this year, so I'm hoping we have a good season coming up.
Oh, that'd be fun. That sounds good.
It should be. Hey, I saw the picture of y'all's kayaks in the boathouse out there. Whose big old seat cushion is that?
I think that big gel seat cushion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Robin's seat cushion.
I'm gonna get Robin. We got a thing. It's called a kayak cushion. It's a big. It doesn't hold water or anything. It's lightweight, but it's thick, like foam, thick foam. I'll send y'all one down there. We'll get her looking cool. I don't want her riding around on that gel cushion down there.
Yeah, if I'd have known that you had that, I would have asked Matt Brooks up here in town. Matt told me about that the other day. He said you need to get you that kayak cushion in there. I said, yeah, I ain't had time to go.
Yeah, I'll drop you one off. I got some here at the house. We'll line that up.
Yeah, that sounds good, man. I appreciate it. I need two if you can. Spare me two.
Yeah.
I'll give you some Cinco's. Leave me some hot water bags. We'll trade out. All right.
That's a deal. We'll trade out some kayak cushions for Cinco's.
Yeah.
So how did you get started tournament fishing? I know you've been doing it for, what, 25 years? I don't want to date you too bad here, but how long you been in the game? You've been doing it for a while.
Yeah, I have. I started right out of high school when I was 18, and I just turned 47 a couple weeks ago. So I've been doing it. So starting, really, really professionally, probably 28 years now. And it's crazy to think about that because I still feel like I still feel young in my head, but I struggled for 4 or 5 years to make it, just like everybody does back in the old days. And we got married when we were 18, 19, right a year out of high school, and she went to college, got a teaching degree, and I went right into fishing. Back then and you had to make the top 50 out of the 200 people in invitationals to make the old BP Top 100 tournaments is what they were called. And I was 48 the first year when I was 18, so I barely made that 50 to get the tour card. And so I started. then that's when I had all that craziness happen. I had ulcerative colitis, my colon ruptured, and almost died. Went through emergency surgery, took my colon out, and had to go back to Duke for 2 more major surgeries. All that was 92, 93, and I got back and was able to still start competing at when I was 19 in May of 93, like 3 months after those surgeries, and I was able to get going, and I never had to miss a tournament. So it's kind of a miracle the way it all came together quickly. But I started out and struggled for till about 23 years old, and I finally 23 I got connected with Rod McSweeney, Southern Comfort Conversions, and Earl Bent's friends, and at the time, and they gave me a van to drive, and a Triton boat was first starting out, and back in fall of 97, or spring of 97, fall of 96, and that was my first big break at 23. And then that year I had my best season, finished 9th in the points, and made the Bassmaster Classic with 23 years old, and that was the first big break. When I finally made the Classic, that kind of finally got me over the hump. And I finally started getting some of those sponsorships that were bags of worms and spinner baits turned into a little bit of money here or there. And my 2 biggest sponsors were MasterCard and Visa for a long time, and they were high interest sponsors. So I was finally able to drop them and get rolling. And then the next year I won an FLW tournament. I fished FLW and Bassmaster in the early years, and I won a $100,000 FLW event in March of 98 on Lake Wheeler in Huntsville, Alabama. And I lived in North Carolina still at the time, and that was kind of the provision that got us out of debt, and it also made us realize that we needed to move to this central Alabama area to be centrally located for tournaments. And so we moved to Alabama in 98, and then that's kind of when everything took off, started getting better after that.
How did you trick Robin into buying in on this idea? Like, listen, you go to college, you have fun, I'm going fishing. What was that sales pitch?
Yeah, we didn't have fishing teams back then. We'd had a college fishing team back then. I might have tried that, but at the time, she she was so supportive, and she was in love, I guess, just like me, and she was supportive, and she knew my dream was to fish, and she never doubted me, never told me that she doubted me, so I never knew she did. She did, and even her parents were pretty amazing. They didn't ever hammer me too bad about what am I going to do to make a living. They had confidence in me too, and so it it was really hard. It was really amazing how it all come together, because it was a struggle, because she not only went to school 6 months after we got married, she had to become a nurse because I was down and sick, had a ileostomy, surgeries, a mess, and all up and really got strong in our love and our faith, at a real young age. And that's probably what made a huge difference in us being married for 28 years now, because of all the stuff we went through in the beginning.
That's a heck of a story there.
So, you've been professionally fishing for all these years, obviously. Lately, we've seen some of these high-level pros jumping into some of these kayak tournaments. You think 2021 we're going to see Randy Howell show up at any of the Hobie events? We've seen, Mike Iaconelli fish this year. Jordan Lee's fished one. Think we could see Randy show up at any of these this year?
Man, I tell you, I've thought about it, and I actually was thinking I was going to do the Coosa River Hobie Bass Open, and then when all the tournament schedules changed around, we got a Major League Fishing Cup event that got scheduled right on top of that Coosa event. Just a month before the Coosa event, it got moved to that date, so it kind of messed me up on that. I was thinking about doing. I wasn't 100% that I would, but I was thinking about it. But I think for sure if we get something else back here at Gunnersville that would be easy to do, because I don't even have a trailer to pull my kayak on. I reckon we could find one, but I can find it on a boat trailer, I guess. But I'd love to do something right here at Gunnersville. But after being in there and filming that show and doing that and kind of having a little pressure to catch fish, because we had just 6 hours to do it, it kind of got me fired up to want, the good feeling of being pressured in the kayak a little bit. Because typically when I'm in the kayak, I'm relaxed and I'm not stressed about worrying about catching fish. If I don't worry about it. I just come on back in and eat, but so I might want to try it. It's definitely addicting. I know that. And as the money keeps getting bigger, you put enough money in there, you get anybody to get in it.
Yep, that's the truth.
Because Iaconelli told me, I was with him in a Lawrence event recently, and he had just fished that one up there in
Susquehanna.
Yeah, Susquehanna. He told me too, so he kind of got me thinking of.
I saw him at the ramp that afternoon after the second day, and he was worn out. Mike's a petite fella anyway, but he said, boy, he's like, I don't see how y'all sit out there and just, because, the Susky is just constant current, and he was fishing one area, so he had to really fight it all day long to stay there. He's like, I didn't think about, kind of how much physical exhaustion there is involved in these 2-day tournaments trying to fish the way he was fishing, especially.
Gosh, yeah, I can't imagine it in current, sitting there on it all day in the current. My legs, I'm in decent shape, and my legs get sore the next day after I pedaled all over Spring Creek, man. And the next morning, my legs were hurting in places they don't normally hurt. And I thought, golly, man, I gotta get in better shape with my legs. But if I had a kayak, like you're talking about, Jeff, with a trolling motor on it now, that's where you really want that as in the current. I'm sure that's nice.
I'm about to strap. I got a Torquedo, they call them, electric motor. I'm about to strap on this 360. I'll let you play around in it one day and see what you think. That's the ticket right there.
I got a Torquedo in my garage down there.
Well, strap it on.
It was broken. It was with that. I had it with that Wilderness.
Yeah.
And Oakley hit it on a log running wide open, and it ain't ever worked since then. It's probably not really hurt bad. It's probably some safety mechanism that kicked inside a breaker or something. But anybody listening that wants to deal on a good Torquedo, it was a $2,000 motor on that Wilderness site when I got it. So.
Well, don't go too far with that. I may know somebody that'll take that off your hands.
It's not working.
Was it the one that goes on the back or the one that drops in the middle of the thing in the middle console?
So bad, man. I ain't hearing y'all too well.
I think it was the one that went on the back. It was the 403, wasn't it, Randy? The one that goes on the back of the kayak?
This is the one that sit in the hole and that wheel is in the
Yeah.
attack.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're stuck with that one. Sorry, buddy.
Oh.
It was so long and deep, it sat down in the water pretty deep, and I think that's how he hit. And when he hit, he just bumped like a floating piece of wood because it floated up after he bumped it, and then it just quit. So it's probably not really damaged. It's probably just something inside that needs to be reset or something, I bet.
So what's Oakley doing? Is he playing basketball this year?
He is. Since you saw him when we were together in the spring, man, he's grown about 6 more inches now. He's 6'1".
I was gonna say, I thought I saw a picture. He looks like he's grown now.
Yeah, he done passed me by. He got me on by 2 inches now, and he lets me know it every day. He's playing basketball pretty good, and he's kind of put fishing in the back burner for a little while. So he's gonna take a little break from fishing, he said, so he can play basketball. So I told him it's all right.
That's probably good though. You don't want him to get burned out. He'll still remember how to fish when he gets through playing basketball, won't he, Jeff?
That's right.
Jeff's a basketballer too, and this is Jeff's retirement. It's kayak fishing.
That's right. My knees and back said no more basketball because we're the same age, Randy. So knees and back said no more basketball. So yeah, fishing it is. Even though kayak fishing's not the easiest on the body.
I played full court last Monday night for the first time in about 5 months because everything's been shut down. Nobody's been opening the gyms up, and the guys finally let us come back to the gym. And man, it felt good to play again. But I was playing against all the 18 to 15 to 25-year-olds, and I know it is frustrating. I know I'm gonna keep playing though. I ain't gonna quit unless I just have to.
So what's it looking like for next year for you on the professional side? I know there's some the MLF FLW merger, and they put on some super events this year. What's your schedule looking like next year?
Yeah, it's really exciting for the guys that really want to fish a lot of events, and I couldn't work it out to do that many. A lot of guys they've got it set up where we're all Major League Fishing, one brand, one umbrella now, and then everything is underneath from high school to college to BFL to Toyota Series and then the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit and then the Bass Pro Tour, and so you can work your way all the way up top to bottom. That's the way it's supposed to be. But next year is the 10 guys drop out. The bottom 10 fall out of the 80 of our Bass Pro Tour, and we 10 previous FLW guys, which are now Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit guys, will move into those spots. And so it's a big year for qualifying for everybody and all that. But I'm just going to fish the Bass Pro Tour and the Major League Cup events that we qualify for. Hopefully, if I have a good season on that, I'll get in more of those cups because we got the potential to fish 4 cups with 8 tour events. Actually 7 tour events and 4 cups. So I'll still have plenty to fish. And if you try to do them all, they lined up where you could fish, the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit and the Bass Pro Tour. And man, that's like 7 plus 6 plus, the 3 or 4 cups. I mean, you'd be gone a long time all year. If you got a family and they're not on the road with you, that'll be tough.
I was talking to Jason Lambert, and that's what he was saying. He's like, yeah, I'll be driving. I think the first little segment there was back and forth from Florida to Texas, like 2 or 3 times in the first month and a half or something. That's a pretty good haul there.
I know, and somebody like Lambert that that's kind of free. His wife's along the road with him. He don't have any kids to worry about. That's a good deal for him. And then a lot of younger guys that that don't have kids or got babies or something that are traveling with them, you can do that. And I would have probably done the same thing 10 years ago when my boys were little on the road with us. A lot easier. I probably would have done it too because I still got the desire to fish that many tournaments. I just don't want to sacrifice that extra time with my boys and doing different things around here and still be able to take care of the sponsor activities we got to do on top of those events. So I'm going to just stick with that Bass Pro Tour and try to do good at those because, I didn't make the Red Crest event this year. It was very, bad deal starting out. Had two bad ones right off the bat. And then I started doing better afterwards, but we only had 5 events to do our points in, and then we had the FLW Super tournaments, but they didn't count for our Bass Pro points. So I didn't get to come back and make the comeback and get into cut there in the end. So I'll be working Redcrest in February in Oklahoma instead of fishing in it. So I got to have a good year next year and make that thing and get it back on track like I need to.
Are they still planning to have the expo and everything post COVID,
Yeah.
COVID and everything that's going on?
Yeah, right now they're planning it big. They've already got all the booth space sold out all over the whole show. The sponsors are really excited about it. A lot of companies are going to be launching their new products at the event, like they've always launched at the Bassmaster Classic, and so it's going to be a really cool event. And all the Major League Fishing pros that aren't in competition will all be there in attendance to meet fans and do autographs, pictures, work sponsors. But always follow the anglers, and they wonder where all of us are, and they don't know where we were when they came to the Bassmaster Classic in Birmingham and didn't know where all of them were. This is where everybody's going to be, is at the Redcrest event. So I encourage anybody in that area to come out to it.
Yeah, it's just down the road from me, so I'll come over here and shake your hand if I can find you.
Yeah, man. We'll come do a live on site show over there. We'll Skype Ryan in, right?
That'd be all right.
There you go, Jeff. I may make a road trip, Randy. You never know where I'm going to be at. I might just happen to be in the neighborhood.
You're everywhere every week. I don't know how you get around so much. I look at your Instagram pictures. I'm like, I don't know how in the world you line your pictures up to make it look like you're in a different state every day.
Hey,
it's easy. Just be in a different state every day.
He's got that nice studio right there, and I don't think he's been in it once in the last 3 months.
This is the first time that I've got to do one of these from the studio with all my stuff in it. So I'm hoping that's about to change. I got some things cooking in the real world that hopefully will take me off the road, and I'll get to spend some time on my home waters. Everybody likes to reference all the time. That's your home lake. That's your backyard. Well, I'm never in my backyard, so it doesn't really do me any good to have a house here if I don't get to fish it.
I know.
So I think we'd be failing the people watching if we didn't open it up for a few questions for fall fishing. If we have the Bassmaster Classic Randy Howell, fishing god of the world on here, we need to have some questions answered by this man for the fall fish. Because just like the pro level, the schedules got all messed up. So kayak fishing tournaments are backloaded into the fall. So there's a lot of late fall and tournaments where they're not normally scheduled happening still right now. So people may have some questions. So if you do, shoot them over here, and we'll ask Randy see if he can answer them for you.
Yeah, and I can tell you right now that the fall, and you guys know because y'all fish a lot too, the late summer, early fall, which we're in right now, is the absolute toughest, most challenging time of the year. Anywhere you go, it don't matter where you go. You can take the best lake in the country, like Chickamauga. That's been one of the best lakes in the country for the last several years, and the Bassmaster boys didn't even break 20 pounds one day up there. I mean, it's unbelievable. When Buddy Gross lives up there and he catches 1 2-pounder one day on that third day or whatever, I'm like, that shows you how tough that lake is right now in the fall.
They had the CBA up there this past weekend too. The CBA is just the local hammers that they beat on that every day, and their bags were tiny comparatively speaking. They had their classic this weekend. I think Cole Sands, he did pretty well in it. I don't know if you know him. He's a young college angler. He's a freaking hammer, man. He's really
I saw him holding up. They had 17 pounds or something the first day. I saw him holding up 2 good ones on Instagram. So that's just fall fishing is tough. I hadn't been here to fish much at Guntersville, but all my buddies and guides I know here, I've talked to them and stay in regularly with them, and they said it's been bad the whole time. And just like that little kayak fishing the other day, I mean, we had to finesse and throw a Cinco to save the day. And, and in a tournament that day, our best 5 probably would have only been 14 or 15 pounds. And that's what you're seeing. It was a big 2-day local hammer tournament here this weekend, kind of like the CBA. It's the Guntersville Association tournament. And one of my buddies is a guide here, and Chris Flint, and he's a policeman here in town. They finished second. They had 29 pounds for 2 days for second. I don't think, but 30, 31 for 2 days won, and that's all the local sticks too.
So we got some questions coming in now. Adam Reiser, he's a Nashville guy. He's really, really good angler. He's asking a question about the hydro wave. How important is the hydro wave during the fall? With bait fish schooling up, How do you utilize that tool in your arsenal?
Yeah, you cut out on the beginning, but I think you say, well, how do I utilize the hydro wave? Do I use the hydro wave in the fall? Okay, yeah. Man, I tell you, I've got it on every boat I've ever owned. I've had a hydro wave, and even before it was a hydro wave, it was a Biosonics years ago. Before it became kind of a hydro wave later, I've had a sound machine for fish for all my boat for years, and I believe in it 100%. The only time that I don't really run it is when I'm bed fishing. If I'm sight fishing for them on a bed, the rest of the time I run it, and I run it on. Usually I turn it on in the mornings on the shallow water power pattern or just power pattern. I've got the KVD model on my boat here, and I turn it up to about half to 3/4 volume and run it loud. And I run it solid for the first couple hours until it starts to slow down or something. And then I might go back and I put it on delayed schooling. That's the next setting I run, and I leave it on delayed schooling all day. And that delayed schooling runs for 30 seconds, and it's off for 30 seconds, and on 30 and off 30. And that way it's not just solid running. It kind of comes on and it kind of surprises, and you'll see the bait fish react. A lot of times you'll see fish chase bait, chase shad around the boat. And I mean, I catch fish right at the boat a lot. And so I believe in that hydro wave a lot. And I've got another model here that I got here in my garage as like a spare. And I took that one, and you put it on the board and just wrap your speaker around on that and then sit it in the kayak. You don't even have to mount it, and just sit it in the floor of the kayak and roll that speaker and just drop it right down over the side of the boat. And I really believe it can do wonders for you, because it causes activity to happen around the boat, and I believe that's what makes it work. And I run all my Livingston crankbaits and baits I use have the electronic bait fish sound in them. So all my baits, when I'm throwing them out, I've got sound in my baits doing the same thing as the hydro waves doing in one spot. So I'm a big time believer in sound all year round.
So those are going to sell out tonight.
They definitely work good. I know that. And there was a big sale last week. TH Marine had the 45-year anniversary sale, and last week was the big sale on the hydro waves. This week, this blue water LEDs are on sale big, so it's a good week to get your LED lights.
Brian, did you catch DJ's question?
I did. So DJ Williams asked, if you have the choice on a lake that has clean water and dirty water, which one do you pick? Would you rather fish clean water, or do you like a little color in the water?
Well, that's a good question. In the spring, well, it depends on the time of the year for me. I'm typically going to say I'd rather have dirty water about any time other than when they're on the bed. When they're on the bed, sight fishing, I'd rather it be clear just so you can see them and catch them easier then. But the rest of the year, I'd rather have some stain because stained water keeps them shallower most of the time, and I like to fish shallow more than deep. And that's what I prefer, a shallow cranking and, flipping, chatterbait, spinnerbait, that kind of stuff.
And specifically, I think he's asking about Truman Lake in Missouri, or Truman Reservoir, because there's a huge tournament coming up there in a week. So,
and it's funny. I've fished a lot of places, but I've never fished Truman Lake. All these years, we've never had a tournament there, so I've never fished there. And Brent Chapman, a buddy of mine, he lives out there in Kansas, and Brent always talks about wishing we had a tournament on Truman. I've heard him say it for years. He said it's a really good lake, and it's a good shallow crankbait lake. So if I was going to Truman, I'd be beating some rocks on the bank with a square bill or something, probably.
There you go, DJ. There's the juice.
There we go.
Write that down.
Somebody else asked, Kyle Long, he wants to know how we've had two other classic champions on here, and you're the third, and how did we pull that off? And like I said earlier in the show, Ryan traded some smallmouth or something for it, didn't you, Ryan?
I did. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes you're just in the right place at the right time. I don't know. We meet some good people, man. The fishing industry, it's a small world. And
Ryan's got all them connections worldwide.
That's right.
Something like that.
He's like, what's
I hang out in the right places.
Now, if you guys got any more questions, shoot them over to us. Jake Harshman asked, and why? I'm assuming he's talking about the dirty water versus clear water. People dropping links to mini hydro waves. I guess they make a smaller version for kayaks or small boats.
Yeah, they do. But I didn't want to buy one of them, so I already had another one, a big version, so I just used that one. But you can buy a little smaller one, too, for the kayak.
What else do you have this year? You got any fall tournaments you're looking at hitting? Or are you going to do some fun fishing, or what have you got left between now and the end of the year?
Man, I tell you, we've got no more competition, but I got a film. I was supposed to be filming Bass Pro shows last week, and the camera guy called the day of, Dave Appleton. You might know him, that films a bunch of stuff for Bass Pro. And he got sick, and I don't know if he got COVID. He never said, but he said he got sick and wasn't going to be able to travel. So we rescheduled for November 18th, 19th. So I got to film 3 of those shows, and I got a couple other just little regional shows to film. And I've got about 3, donated trips that I got to that were auctioned off this year that I got to take people on. And then really the King's Home event, that's going to take precedence for the next couple of weeks. As soon as we get to first week of November, we're back and forth down there to Birmingham, constantly, doing, boat ticket selling and trying to set up the event, because they got about a 10-acre pond on the girls' ranch campus there that we have the fishing event at. So Alabama Aquarium and Pond Services is a pond service group there in that area that's good friends of mine, and they come in and start stocking some more fish, and we try to get the lake in good shape so all these kids and people that don't really ever get to catch any fish can have a good experience that day and catch some fish. So we'll be doing that all the way through till we finish it on November 14th. And then after that, I might get to fish a little bit around close to Thanksgiving, and then Robin is going to have a back surgery December 7th, so that's going to shut us down for a little while. So trying to get her back fixed, we got to go to Texas Back Institute in Dallas and have that done. But I think she'll be all right. It's just going to be having to go through and do it all, the bad part.
So nobody try to contact Randy during that time, because Robin won't be there to figure all the stuff out. So y'all leave Randy alone. The manager will be down.
Text and FaceTime. That's all I know how to use. All right.
Prayers for Robin. Hopefully the surgery goes well and she's back on her feet in no time.
I hope so too. We're going to try hard. I know that.
We've got Steve-O, my buddy Steve-O. He runs the Bassmaster Bass Nation events around here. He invited you up. We got a kayak tournament on the 21st on Chickamauga if you want to come up and get some redemption on Chick.
Phew.
Slide you in.
I'll have to think about that.
I hope the bites. The lake should flip by then, I would think. We're starting to see some colder temperatures. I'm hoping by late November, the lake's flipped and it's a much more predictable fall pattern. We had Kyle Long. He asked, what water temps will you decide it's too cold for topwater? Is there too cold for topwater? Where do you cut it off?
Yeah, usually I'll take it all the way into the mid upper 50s. I don't, especially with a buzz bait. The buzz bait's the one thing you can keep throwing right on the bank, real shallow, slow. And I've caught them on buzz bait even when it snowed before. I've caught them on buzz bait when they come up real shallow on the bank. But still, the water's low to mid 50s at best. So most of the time, I'll just throw it until I don't get any more bites on it. Really, that's all. It's pretty simple. I'll just keep throwing it until they just don't bite it at all. And I'm hard headed. But if you still, I've still been like at Christmas time. I remember being on Gunnersville several times, and people throwing Alabama rigs a few years ago, and the fish, come up busting, chasing bait, in the bays and pockets, and the water be, 50 degrees, 48, 50 degrees, and I get the top water out and throw it over there and still catch a bass. They're just sluggish, but when they're coming up chasing bait, I have caught them really cold a few times. It's rare, but they're when they're chasing bait, they'll bite on top.
There you go, Kyle. Now mid-50s.
I don't know what he's talking about. He lives on a power
Yeah.
plant. He lives on a power plant lake there, and the water's 80 degrees all the time. So I don't know what he's worried about.
Yeah.
Kyle catches those
year-round,
big
man.
fish out of his backyard all the time, doesn't he? And he's the one posting those 8-pounders and stuff, like literally out of his backyard.
Yeah, he eats dinner, walks down, catches an 8-pounder, and walks back in.
Who's that?
My buddy Kyle Long. He lives over here at Northwest Arkansas. There's a power plant lake over here, Lake Flint Creek or Slepco Lake, stocked with Floridas. He lives right on it. So it's our only trophy fish lake around here. So
We need to go do a show there then.
yeah,
Yeah.
pick Kyle up. He'll make you some hamburgers, and as long as you pick him up, he'll show you around the lake. Any more questions out there, y'all? We don't want to keep Randy all night long. We've had him for a while now. We sure appreciate him being on here, and dealing with us for the evening.
I've enjoyed it. I'm just glad it's working. Y'all are hearing me because sometimes I'm not hearing y'all good, but hopefully y'all hearing me.
Oh, that's just Skype. We'll just blame it on Arkansas internet again, like we usually do.
Right? Yeah, that's what we always do. Arkansas internet.
Yeah.
Oh, DJ slid one more question in. He asked, "What's your PB, and did you catch it during a tournament?"
Call 10.5 times over the years, and never one bigger than 10.8. But I did catch the 10.8 at like in Bassmaster several years ago in the early 2010, 14, something like that. It was because I called and thought for sure I had big fish, and Greg had 11 pounds.
We're kind of losing your audio there, sir. But I think I heard you say you caught a 10.8, and then Greg Hackney beat you with the big bass at an 11. Was that right?
Yeah. 10. Okay.
Well, Skype's acting up on us. We are locking up and freezing up. Are you seeing them there, Ryan?
How about now?
Yeah, that's pretty good right there.
Better. All right. I said I caught a 10.8 at Lake Amistad, and Greg Hackney beat me out with an 11 pounder that day. So you hear that time?
Yes, sir.
I've never met Greg, but seeing him on TV, he just seems like a good old boy. Like just
he is
salt of the earth kind of dude.
He is. He loves to catch them, man. He can catch them too, man.
My father-in-law met him at the boat ramp on your favorite lake, Ryan, Lake Washita. Said he sat there and explained exactly what he was catching him on for 45 minutes to some guy he didn't ever know. So I took that as being a good old boy.
Yeah, he is a good old boy. He's a good old redneck. Loves to fish and hunt, and that's all he loves to do, man. I tell you, and he's good at it.
So I like it. Well, I appreciate you coming on, Randy. Jeff, if that's all right with you, we'll go ahead and wrap it up.
Yeah. Let me throw a few things out real quick. Real quick. Clint Dunbar's Tommy Strong fundraiser tournament, raising funds for a young man that's fighting cancer. You want to find that over on Tourney X. And then also don't forget to sign up for the Bass Nation event coming up that Steve mentioned earlier in the comments. But that's all I got, man.
Yep. Everybody else coming in town for the shootout, trying to slide into the Tournament of Champions here in a couple weeks on Lake Tellico. AJ's posted the links to the hotels in the Knoxville area that are offering, a discount. So we're going to try to get everybody together. One of my buddies that I went to high school with, actually, he owns a restaurant in Knoxville. He's going to cater, I think AJ said, our Saturday night meal. We're going to have a good time up there at the Tournament of Champions. Come out, make it if you can, roll the dice on the shootout. It's going to be a good event, and I'm sure you will see a few Tennessee boys trying to make a little racket up there in the top 10.
Sounds like fun, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. It will. That bite hopefully is just going to get better as we go on. I ask anybody that's interested, if you can spare $100, help out what Randy's trying to do here with the Kings Home Alabama Foundation, and you might win a brand new bass boat. So give it a shot. And Randy, we appreciate you coming on.
Thank y'all for plugging and letting me get on here and talk about it tonight. We're going to all make a difference. We all work together and do it, man. And thank y'all again. You got till November 14th, so y'all just get ready and let your buddies all know if you missed tonight, and let's make a difference on November 14th. So thank y'all again. God bless, and I'll see y'all on the water somewhere before too long.
Sounds good, buddy.
Yes,
Take care.
Thanks again. And happy Halloween, everybody. We'll catch y'all next Monday.
All right, thanks.